It's a crisp London night in 2011. Outside the Royal Albert Hall, a restless crowd of thousands snakes around the block. Their breath rises in clouds against the freezing air, but no one dares leave. Cameras flash, reporters jostle. The anticipation is bone deep. Everyone's waiting for the same thing. One voice, one woman to step onto that stage. Because tonight, Adele is about to perform in front of the world. An ordinary girl from Tottenham turned global superstar. And yet, behind the velvet curtains, Adele Laurie Blue Adkins is terrified. Her palms sweat, her throat burns. Every heartbeat feels like a drum roll inside her chest. She isn't thinking about the roaring fans, the sold-out seats, or the shelves of awards waiting to be collected. She's thinking about whether her voice, her only weapon, her only shield, will even hold up long enough for her to sing. What the audience doesn't know is that this night, this triumphant concert, is also the edge of a cliff. Adele's meteoric rise is dazzling, yes, but it's also shadowed by pain, sacrifice, and controversy that will follow her for decades. This is not just a story of success. This is the dark rise of Adele. Rewind to Tottenham, North London, late 1990s. A little girl with a notebook full of scribbled lyrics wanders the cramped streets, humming tunes under her breath. The family doesn't have much. Adele's single mother, Penny, is working hard to make ends meet. The father? Gone. A permanent absence. A wound that never heals. A shadow that stretches across Adele's entire childhood. Music, though, music is a lifeline. A way to escape, to express, to survive. Adele doesn't dream of being a pop princess draped in sequins. She doesn't fantasize about stadium lights or glittering paparazzi. No, she wants honesty. She wants to pour her heartbreak, her pain, her joy into melodies that cut people to the bone. She wants her voice to feel like a scar opening on the skin. Real, raw, impossible to ignore. But the world she's about to enter doesn't reward honesty. It rewards image, control, a carefully curated illusion. And Adele, fresh-faced and fearless, has no idea she's about to step into a war zone. Fast forward to 2008. Her debut album, 19, hits the airwaves, and everything changes. Suddenly, Adele is everywhere. Her smoky voice blasting from radios, her name whispered in industry boardrooms. Overnight, she's hailed as the future of British soul. But with success comes expectation. Her label wants more hits. The press wants scandal. The public wants her life laid bare. Every heartbreak, every stumble, every mistake. And here's the conflict. Adele is not interested in playing the game. She chain smokes, she swears like a sailor, she drinks pints at the pub with friends. She doesn't look like the industry's idea of a pop goddess. And for that, she's mocked, criticized, and dissected. The tabloids sharpen their knives. Her body becomes headline fodder. Her authenticity, her refusal to conform, is turned into controversy. The central battle becomes clear: Adele versus the industry. Adele versus the machine that doesn't quite know what to do with a voice that sounds like heartbreak itself, wrapped in a body and a personality that refuse to fit the mold. But fame doesn't just test Adele in the press. It tears into her personal life. Her relationships are turbulent, messy, heartbreakingly human. Each collapse fuels the songs that catapult her to greater stardom. The world sings along to Someone Like You with tears in their eyes, but for Adele, the song isn't just a melody, it's her lived reality. She's lived those lyrics, sobbed on bathroom floors, patched her heart together with cigarette smoke and lyrics scribbled in notebooks. Then comes the cruelest twist of all. The very thing that gave her the world, her voice, begins to betray her. Strained vocal cords, searing pain. Doctors warning her that she may lose the very instrument that made her famous. By 2011, at the very height of her fame, Adele is facing surgery that could silence her forever. One incision, one wrong cut, and it's over. Think about that. A woman who built her identity on her voice, standing on the edge of losing it. How does someone keep going when their essence is threatened? Adele's life is like a storm-battered lighthouse. The waves crash harder every year, tabloids mocking her weight, paparazzi hounding her child, headlines dissecting her divorce. But the light, that voice, it keeps cutting through the chaos, guiding millions of listeners who feel lost in their own heartbreak. But honesty, Adele's greatest strength, becomes her sharpest weapon. And weapons cut both ways. When she vanishes from the spotlight for years at a time, fans feel abandoned, betrayed. When she reemerges after dramatic weight loss, the internet explodes. Some hail it as empowerment, others call it betrayal, a rejection of the body positivity fans once celebrated her for. Suddenly, Adele's body becomes public property. Every pound gained, every pound lost, every choice she makes is debated, dissected, consumed. And Adele? She doesn't hold back. She curses out paparazzi who get too close. She holds concerts mid-song to scold fans glued to their phones instead of listening. She blasts celebrities who cross her. For some, this rawness is refreshing. For others, it's arrogance. But one truth is undeniable. Adele refuses to play nice. Which begs the bigger question, can someone this raw, this brutally honest, survive in an industry built on illusion? By the 2020s, Adele is no longer just a singer, she's an empire. Her albums have sold over 100 million copies worldwide. Her Las Vegas residency sells out in minutes, raking in millions before the first note is sung. Her fortune is in the hundreds of millions. She isn't just a star, she's one of the last great giants of the music industry. But here's the catch. The higher the climb, the sharper the fall. Every absence sparks rumors. Every transformation creates outrage. Every new album release feels less like a celebration and more like a battle against time, against expectation, against the crushing weight of being Adele. When 21 dropped, it became one of the best-selling albums of all time, redefining heartbreak ballads for an entire generation. That's a victory so massive, it cements Adele as untouchable. But success has its shadow. How do you top perfection? How do you keep living when your deepest pain has already been mined for platinum records? Every album after 21 carries impossible pressure. 25, 30, each one scrutinized, dissected, compared to the mountain of perfection that came before. The more Adele gives, the more the world demands. And deep down, she knows her greatest triumph is also her greatest prison. And yet, she keeps going. She steps onto stages, voice trembling but alive. She stands under the lights, telling the world her story again and again, even as the cost grows higher. The controversies continue. Her weight, her words, her choices, her very existence. But through it all, the music remains. So where does this leave Adele today? She's older now, wiser, more private. She balances motherhood with superstardom, silence with spectacle. But the war never ends. The war between the girl from Tottenham who just wanted to sing and the global icon the world refuses to stop consuming. Because Adele's story isn't just about music. It's about survival. It's about the cost of honesty in an industry addicted to lies. It's about a voice that could break your heart with a single note, even as its owner fights to keep it alive. And it leaves us with a haunting question. What happens when the voice that defined a generation finally falls silent? That's a question only the future can answer. But one thing is certain, Adele's rise was dark. Her struggles were real, and her life remains as controversial as the songs that made her immortal. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, subscribe for more.